appreciate Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So apparently Oscar De La Hoya is extremely frustrated with Ryan Garcia when it comes to getting him an opponent, because Oscar De La Hoya, believe it or not, he actually is trying to push Ryan Garcia to take the Devin Haney fight. For those of you guys who didn't know this, Ryan Garcia is actually Devin Haney's mandatory for Devin's WBC belt. See, the way it usually works is usually the mandatory, the number one contender, is chasing the champion. In this case, the champion is chasing the number one contender. And we all know now that Tank Davis is most likely moving up to 140 to fight Mario Barrios next, and because Lomachenko turned down a Devin Haney fight again, now Devin Haney will be fighting Jorge Linares. Now, Devin Haney should have been fighting Ryan Garcia next if he couldn't get the Lomachenko fight, but Ryan Garcia said he's not interested in a Devin Haney fight. So this is what Oscar De La Hoya had to say about this whole situation with Ryan Garcia. Quote, "We have a kid in Ryan Garcia who wants to go straight to the top, and I don't blame him. We're working on Ryan Garcia's next fight, but obviously with the whole Pacquiao situation, it was never on the table. When you have Ryan Garcia sending a post on Instagram, the world is going to hear about it. And he kind of tied our hands behind our back when he announced he only wants to fight Pacquiao or Tank Davis." Actually, correction, Oscar. He didn't announce that he wanted to fight Pacquiao. He announced that he was fighting Pacquiao next. Now, he did announce that he wanted to fight Tank Davis, but that didn't happen either, obviously. So Oscar, he continues and he says, "As you know, those are two fights that are almost impossible to make right now. Devin Haney would be a great fight. When you have Ryan only wanting to fight Pacquiao or Tank, we still have to work. Hopefully sooner or later, we can talk some sense into him and get something done. We're hoping by late April." Now, the first thing I want to say is I don't understand what Oscar De La Hoya meant when he said it's impossible to make the Tank Davis fight. How is that fight impossible to make when Tank Davis, he even agreed to being the B-side if he had to be? He just wanted to get in the ring and fight Ryan Garcia. He didn't care what the stipulations were. So when Oscar De La Hoya says it's impossible for that fight to come to fruition, it really sounds like he's saying there's no way he's going to allow Ryan Garcia to get in the ring with Tank Davis. Remember, Oscar is the same man that said that Ryan wasn't ready for Tank Davis because Tank is a beast. He said that about 2 years ago. And we know that Canelo Alvarez's own mentor and idol, Canelo Alvarez, told Canelo right after the Luke Campbell fight that Ryan Garcia was not ready for a Tank Davis. His exact words were, "I think Ryan needs a couple more fights and then he'll be ready for everyone," which is a nice way to say you're not ready for the likes of a Tank Davis. It also suggests Canelo is telling him he's not ready for a Devin Haney either. But Ryan Garcia already knows he's not ready for Devin Haney because he already said on multiple interviews that Devin Haney will be his toughest fight. He's basically waiting to fight him last. He's already said this, and I already played the audio clips for you on previous videos. Which also completely explains why when Eddie Hearn confronted Ryan Garcia and told him, "Look, Ryan, if you're not fighting Manny Pacquiao or Tank Davis next, then you need to consider fighting the champion that you're the number one contender for, Devin Haney." And Ryan simply said, "I will." So Ryan Garcia and Golden Boy, they're in a tough spot right now. Where does Ryan go from here? I mean, he could possibly wait around and see what happens after Tank Davis fights Mario Barrios, which I believe Tank will win that fight. That would make the Ryan Garcia fight even bigger. The fact that Tank moved all the way up to 140 when you had some fans criticizing him for fighting a Leo Santa Cruz that moved up in weight. The fact that now Tank Davis is willing to do exactly what Leo Santa Cruz did, if he were to win that fight, yeah, that's going to make a Ryan Garcia fight much bigger. It would also further eliminate any excuses that fans made for why Leo Santa Cruz lost, because once again, here Tank Davis is doing exactly what Leo was attempting to do, but Tank was actually successful at doing it. So Ryan, he could wait around for a Tank Davis fight, or he could wait around for a Devin Haney fight, or even a Teofimo Lopez fight. But if Ryan Garcia is not going to fight any of these guys, where does he go? See, you have to understand, when it comes to fighters on a coincidental list, Devin Haney and Tank Davis, they can only fight guys that are willing to get in the ring with them. When it comes to fighters like Teofimo Lopez and Ryan Garcia, they can fight whoever they want because everyone is chasing them. You see, the truth is, clearly Tank Davis and Devin Haney, they see Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez as the weakest links. Ryan, the weakest of all, but then next to Ryan would be Teo, because those are the fighters that Devin and Tank are aggressively going after. Matter of fact, it's kind of funny because I showed you guys the screenshot of someone who commented in my comment. He was one of those anti-black fans, but at the same time, didn't really want to see Tank Davis or Devin Haney fight against a Ryan Garcia or Teofimo. So he posted a comment and he asked, why do they keep going after Ryan Garcia and Teofimo? He said, why won't they fight against each other? Then he said the only reason they won't fight against each other because they don't want to lose their undefeated record. He didn't even realize he just admitted that he felt that Ryan Garcia and Teofimo were the weakest links out of the Fab Four, because he believed that if Tank or Devin Haney were to fight a Ryan or Teo, they would probably still remain undefeated. The only way they would lose is if they would fight against each other. But going back to the point where I was telling you guys that fighters on a coincidental list don't have that many options because a lot of times they're being avoided. This is the reason why you cannot compare a Canelo Alvarez's resume to a Jamal Charlo's resume. It's ridiculous. How are you going to compare a fighter that everyone is chasing to a fighter who's the most avoided in the sport? It makes no sense. It's like someone challenging you to a race, but they tie your feet up before you race, and then they're bragging about how they're so much faster than you are. So the point is, if you're going to compare resumes, compare two fighters that both have all the options in the world. For example, comparing Canelo's resume to Gennady Golovkin's resume makes more sense because they are both two of the most chased fighters in the sport. I'll end this video by saying this. If Ryan Garcia does not fight a Teofimo Lopez, a Tank Davis, a Ryan Garcia, a Lomachenko, after they all have their next fights, if Ryan still doesn't fight any of these guys by the end of this year, his stock will plummet. Because remember guys, just like old media and Chris Mannix had told Ryan after he beat Luke Campbell, Ryan, you call all of the shots. This is the reason why Ryan will have no excuses to make these fights come to fruition or happen, because if he says he wants to fight someone, they're going to step to the plate. They're going to take the fight right away. I mean, you've seen how quick Tank Davis was ready to fight. So let's see what opponent Ryan Garcia summons before the end of this year. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. Fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called scalp micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. So to get this hookup, make sure you follow and contact my man Scalp Carolinas on Instagram. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo de Key Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodekey.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.